Hi. I want to share more tips and tricks about how to gain self-trust, because that really is, I think, the most important thing that we need to focus on. So I'm going to say it again. I will probably say it a million times before you get done listening to me. But we need to replace self-esteem, which is what we're taught is it's important, because that is reputation-based. It's based on what other people think of us and what we think of ourselves in the context of other people. It's not useful. What's more useful is to be willing to say, my goal is self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is not something that you can do. It's kind of a noun. It's kind of a way of being. So it's not a very useful concept. What is very useful is the concept that what self-acceptance really is self-trust. It's a big idea. Now, trust doesn't mean that you approve of or you like. It doesn't mean you want to continue to do something that you don't like. But self-trust is taking a big leap of faith and basically turning the mirror that has been faced out into the world, even if it's slightly angled on you, and turning it 100% inward. And I like to use the word of the day because a creativity technique allows for more expansiveness in the way our creative minds work. Is we work in language and pictures together. When we separate them, it makes us kind of stupid because we're only using 50% of what we're capable of. So one of the reasons to do this practice is to get in the habit of using your whole brain all the time. So using your whole brain, what you can do, and this is a New Year's thing, but when I've been a coach for a long time, and when I start working with somebody, I'll say, okay, what are your concerns? I'll give a very brief list. I think that my own major concern is how I'm going to resolve all the grief in my life, because I don't like grieving. And I have unresolved grief, and I don't trust myself in areas because I avoid experiences because I'm afraid I might have to grieve for them after. I'm sure that speaks to you. So I will resist getting close to people. I will resist learning new things, things like that. So I have undertaken personally to work on what I am calling unresolved grief, because there's lots of stuff that I still feel sad about that I never dealt with. Okay, that's fine, that's just me. But you might consider all the issues you might have with unresolved resentments you have towards someone you are currently friendly with, living with, known. You can consider that there's unresolved anger with parents and people from your past. You can consider that you're concerned about having not enough money or how you spend money. You can consider that you don't like the way you use alcohol and drugs, or you do like it too much, or maybe it's fine. You can consider how you deal with food. You can consider how you deal with yourself. Are you kind to yourself? Are you allowed to make mistakes? Do you have unrealistic expectations? Now, what's great about this kind of a very free-form list is something will hit you. And then once that hits you, and this is in the privacy of your own time, you can use your morning 5-minute practice for this. You can make a list, and each day for that week, you can work on one of these ideas or one idea for 5 days. And then what starts to happen is you start to trust yourself. And you go, you know what? I don't really trust myself to have one drink. It's true. I pretend I do, and sometimes I have one drink, and sometimes I have 5, but I'm not trustworthy. And it's the not being trustworthy that creates the problems that we have with ourselves. So from there, and again, this is a longer conversation, let's just say that the issue happens to be that you're worried that you might drink too much. The answer is, of course, if you worry about it, you will. So worrying is not your best choice. But what we've just done is by taking the power back and by you admitting to yourself privately, maybe through the Word of the Day cluster, that you are not always trustworthy about going out and being a social drinker, you have a solution. Because by simply admitting that you're not trustworthy, it opens the possibilities of all kinds of different things you can do. Obviously, you cannot go. Obviously, you can only take a certain amount of money. Obviously, if it's a good friend, you can ask them to let you know that you've made an agreement with yourself not to order more than 1 or 2 drinks, whatever your decision is. You can write it down on a piece of paper. You can put an alarm on your phone. There are a million ways, once you trust yourself to admit that you're not trustworthy, that you can now become the trustworthy person that you would like to be with. So if you find this work interesting, please come join me on the webinars, on my website, sign up for the newsletter, buy the book, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, bye.